Good evening and welcome to Prime Business with me, Emma Davis. Let's settle for the details. The Bank of Ghana has cautioned Ghanaians against rejecting the 1 pesewa coin and 5 pesewa coin. Head of Currency Management at the Central Bank, Dominic Owusu, says the coins are legal tenders meant for transactions. According to him, the Central Bank will continue to monitor its currency in circulation to support the economy. He was speaking at a media engagement as part of the Ghana Month celebration.
Let me be emphatic on this, that the Central Bank, and for that matter, Bank of Ghana, is the only institution that has been given the mandate to issue and redeem any currency or denomination that the Central Bank has issued is a legal tender. And currently, the 1 pesewa up to the 200 Ghana cedis are all legal tender. So we must not refuse to accept any of those denominations. So please accept them. We cannot come after you, imprisoning you, taking you to court for refusing to accept. But since the Ghana cedi is our identity, which we have spelled out, and also it symbolizes our national heritage, please don't refuse to accept any note. For that matter, because the coins fall into the change class, we must also ensure that when we are using them, we don't just push a lot of them onto the public. In terms of when you are doing transactions, you don't just go and take 100 pieces of the 1 pesewa coin as 1 cedi. It's only for change. And within the change class, you just buy something, maybe 5 Ghana cedi, you bought something for 1 cedi, and you get a change for 2 pieces of what? 2 Ghana cedi coin. So we must be very, very rational in our change.
Unilever Ghana Limited has announced Chris Caesar as a new Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer. His appointment takes effect from April 1, 2024. Chris will spearhead the general operations of Unilever in Ghana, among other duties. Chris is an accomplished international business executive with 24 years multi-country and multi-FMCG experience. He joins Unilever from Freesell and Campina, where he was the marketing director for Sub-Saharan Africa, managing brands and marketing activities across 44 countries in a 600 million euro business. Before joining Friesland Campina in 2018 as marketing director for Nigeria, Chris spent over 20 years working in both local and international roles for AB InBev, Sab-Miller, and Unilever. He was the marketing director of West Africa, Ghana, and Nigeria, to be specific, at AB InBev, and a member of the board of directors for Africa Brewery Limited. Moving on, tomorrow's episode of Food Chain takes us through the journey of how 2 companies, AgroKing Limited and Wenka Processing Unit, how they were established due to Malvin Ni Ayibonte Smith's love for cashew and how they are tapping into the international market.
Turning his favorite childhood snack, cashew, into a business, Malvin Ni Ayibonte Smith became a cashew processor. Growing up in a cashew farming community, Malvin, with friends, played with cashew and devised ways to process the nut to make it edible. Although he's a management accountant, he felt the urge 17 years ago to combine his profession and love for cashew into one and birthed AgroKing Limited and Wenka Processing Unit.
I've known cashew when I was very young, where I stayed. We had some cashew trees around, so we play with cashew, the raw nuts. We do our own roasting and all that with the raw nuts traditionally. So, and myself, I started work in a factory. Actually, I'm a management accountant by profession. So, as a management accountant, we are called factory accountants. So I started work close to factories where machines do work. So I became very accustomed to the fact that I want to be where my skill is. So I decided to set up my own processing unit. It actually started way back 17 years ago when I started what we call Winker cashew processing. So when you look on our brands, you have Winker cashew snacks. So that's where we started from. And for cashew processing, we have both what we call the primary processing and the secondary processing. So Winker, at that point, was doing both the primary and the secondary processing. So along the line, somewhere around 2019, we decided to separate the company, and then we came out with AgroKing to be the AgroKing to be the primary processor, and then Winker the secondary processor.
Cashew is one of Ghana's high-earning non-traditional exports. However, some Ghanaians believe that consuming milk after eating the cashew apple could lead to death. This myth has made cashew unpopular to some consumers. Malvin shares how he, together with other stakeholders, are helping change the narrative.
Fortunately, for some of us, we didn't get to know of that myth when we were growing up. So we were taking cashew, the fruits, and because we had trees all over, we were taking the fruits. And if at that time you have the opportunity to have milk around, which was not that much, you just take it. You didn't know what was happening. When I have the opportunity to speak anywhere, in any function, and the issue comes up, I try to address them as much as possible.
Like any other business, Mr. Smith shares that financing has been a challenge.
Once I decided that that's where I want to be, all the resources that I was getting from doing my accounting work, my management accounting work, I was just putting them into that. So I started purely by raising my own funds, and then started that. Along the line, I realized that it is tougher than that because you needed to set the structures that are large enough for you to have your processing well organized if you want to get to that point. And then the issue came up. Money, investing, the right kind of money. There are funds all over the place, but the right kind of money, the appropriate kind of financing was the problem.
Malvin disclosed that the international market for cashew kernel is huge and Ghana is yet to fully tap from it.
We want to get to a point where we can attract these foreign investments to come in and partner us. So that was the agenda, and God being so good, we got to that point, and then we had a partner last year. The chunk of cashews are consumed in America and Europe. Aside India that consumes their own cashew, they are consumed in America and Europe, and it's shorter from here to America and Europe. So we have comparative advantage to send our cashews to America and Europe than what the Asians have.
To catch the full interview tomorrow, Saturday at 6 p.m. on the Joy News channel. Moving on, the Ghana Investments Fund for Electronic Communication, GIFEC, has assured of reviving its operations to get all rural areas connected with data services. According to the Chief Executive, Prince Sefa, the initiative had few challenges, but the road is clear now to get the project back on track. He spoke to journalists after inspecting a training for beneficiaries of the Introduction to Computer Basics for the visually impaired in the Central Region.
As part of the Digital Transformation Centers initiative, the International Telecommunications Union, in collaboration with partners, is providing basic computer skills training for the visually impaired under the Introduction to Computer Basics for the Visually Impaired program. 450 visually impaired citizens in 13 regions are expected to be trained on the fundamentals of computers over a 15-day period. Speaking to journalists during the inspection, Chief Executive of GIFEC, Prince Sefa, hinted that work on all cell sites will resume for the beneficiary communities to be connected to data services.
It still shows, as I said, that there's still going to be quite a few communities that are going to be needing interconnectivity, so we'll continue to work. But those who haven't been connected, there had been some bottlenecks that we had. Now those bottlenecks have been worked on, and sometime over the next few weeks, we expect to be fully back on track in the field, interconnecting all these people so that the teachers can go and stay at post, the nurses, the doctors, and so on and so forth.
Sefa has also been given some updates on the project as he expressed satisfaction so far.
This particular training, the ICBBI training, is one that is intended to train people in the ICTs as people who have visual impairment. And these people fall under persons with disabilities. And it's obviously very important that such a subpopulation is empowered. We empower them. It's not only about perhaps seeing some of them and showing them kindness in one fashion or the other, but giving them tools so that these people become more independent and they can do more for themselves and have to rely less on other people to be able to have a fulfilling life. So it started last year with the ST Foundation. They brought people from across the country to be trained. Okay, I think 2 such training were done. And from that, this year, we've now started training people within the underserved and unserved communities directly.
The training program is designed to develop digital skills mainly at the basic and intermediate levels, particularly in underserved communities.
Now, the British Council has reiterated its commitment to drive digital literacy and improve factual literacy skills among the youth. The program, which is aimed at equipping the youth with digital skills for jobs for the future, hopes to achieve this by providing training for lecturers of the colleges of education. There's more in this report.
Over 230 million jobs in sub-Saharan Africa will require digital skills by 2030. In light of this, the Skills for Success program aims to provide lecturers from colleges of education and universities with the knowledge and skills to improve digital literacy and factual writing skills. The project hopes to enhance academic performance and employability among the youth through the teaching and learning process. Speaking at the event, Fuleke Faderi, Senior Evaluation Advisor in Sub-Saharan Africa for the British Council, expressed hope that the project will equip the youth for future jobs.
Long term is we want to see that young people have the skills embedded in them when it comes to factual writing and media and information literacy. It's almost second nature, and that it opens up access doors for them to work maybe in journalism, in areas where you need the skills to get better jobs, and they are strongly digitally oriented. So that's what we want to see in the long term. And we believe that once we have this, it will influence the systems around them, so the work systems, their own personal life systems, their economic opportunities, because they have stronger skills.
She details the impact so far.
The project supported those student teachers who are now teachers as they went into their student practice or their teaching practice, and they were able to help the learners that were in the schools, secondary schools that they taught in. They were able to help the learners because of the skills that they had. Other than the student teachers and the subsequent teaching practice that they had, the fact that we worked with highly skilled professionals in the media and information literacy space to develop the learning materials and provided the kits which are available for use is a strong win for the project. And also that we're able to work with the government of Ghana, we're able to equip the lecturers in these higher education institutions that we worked with is a key win for the project.
Chikode Onyamerela, Programs Director at the British Council, noted that the program was carefully tailored to suit the Ghanaian education system.
We first of all engage the government through the respective ministries to identify what the need is, and then begin to design a program to meet the needs. We don't dump programs to countries. We hear from the ministries, the minister, and then of course the government institutions, just like Ghana Tertiary Education Commission, NACA for the curriculum, and hear what the need is, and then we design a program to respond to that. That is exactly what we did.
President of the Academic Business and Administrators Forum, Dr. Emmanuel Edusa Akodefuye, is calling for the collaboration between academic institutions and industry in order to churn out graduates that will provide solutions facing many sectors of the economy. According to him, this collaboration is needed to ensure that graduates from various universities in the country will enhance the business landscape. He was speaking at the inaugural ceremony of the Academic Business and Administrators Forum.
The Academic Business and Administrators Forum seeks to promote research and training in the critical areas of stakeholders' interest of the Ghanaian economy and Africa. This is expected to help bridge the gap between academia and businesses. In an interview, President of the Academic Business and Administrators Forum, Dr. Emmanuel Dusa said collaboration between the two institutions would enhance skills development and promote the business landscape.
We hope to work assiduously towards a very fruitful relationship between what I call a tripartite of business, academia, and administrators towards finding solutions to the challenges that we have as a nation, be they in agriculture, sanitation, logistics, even the law and administration, the whole gamut of society, the entire social structure. We hope these discussions will bring about changes that can move us forward as a nation.
Executive Secretary Manuel Pukusa said the forum will conduct the needed research to address problems faced by businesses to increase their acceptance of new graduates.
Academics are doing their research differently without recourse to industry. And then industry also have their departments. In fact, they call them research and development departments. And these departments operate in isolation. We believe that with all the expertise in academia, if we are able to collaborate, if we come together and we do the research, we come out with research proposals that have been developed by both parties. And then we come out with protocols and then design research questions. At the end of the day, we'll be able to come out with serious proposals that will help solve problems. And then after that, after the proposals, we'll conduct research that would solve problems for Ghana, for the various industries, and for academia.
The Academic Business and Administrators Forum seeks to analyze industrial demand and need for sustainable solutions.
GCB Bank PLC has donated some food items worth millions of cedis to the office of the National Chief Imam to help in the breaking of the fast during this Ramadan period. According to the bank, the gesture goes beyond their corporate social responsibility, which is playing an integral role in national development. Here's more.
The items included bags of rice, sugar, gallons of oil, boxes of water, including a cash amount of 100,000 cedis. Making the donation, Managing Director of GCB Bank PLC, Mr. Kofi Adumakon, said the donation goes beyond their corporate social responsibility, which is to familiarize themselves with the Muslim community, which hosts a chunk of the bank's branch network.
In the holy month of Ramadan, we find it very necessary to break bread with our Muslim brothers. And like he said, to support the Chief Imam. Every year we come by here, we come and thank Allah, we ask for the blessings of Allah, we pray with the Chief Imam, and then we also do what we have to do to support him, to support the many Islam followers.
Receiving the items on behalf of the Chief Imam, Ambassador Lieutenant Colonel Umaru Sanda Ahmed expressed gratitude for the gesture and asked for Allah's blessings for the bank. He also commended the bank for playing an integral role in national development and encouraged the bank to keep on seeking the interests of Ghanaians.
During this period of Ramadan, he has made it a point to make real donation to the National Chief Imam because of the responsibilities the old man carries in terms of opening his doors to the multitude of crowds who come in here to break the fast. And he deems it as part of his duty to bring both the Muslim workers of the institution and the Christian workers to come and also to seek spiritual intervention for the fortunes of the bank.
You might be making profits with your business or enterprise, but what is your customer acquisition cost? Dr. Maxwell Ampon explains what CAC is on this week's episode of Entrepreneur in You.
Money. Hello, today we try to understand our customer acquisition cost. Picture this, you've opened a brand new sneaker store just down the road. To get people to come into your store, you print flyers, run some online ads on Facebook, Instagram, on social media, and you host a grand opening event. All these marketing efforts cost money, right? They do. Now let's say all that effort brings in 100 new customers. If you spend 5,000 Ghana cedis bringing in 100 new customers, then your customer acquisition cost is simply the 5,000 Ghana cedis divided by the 100 customers that are brought in. That is 50 Ghana cedis for every new customer. It is how much money you spend to bring in one customer to come buy your goods. Why does this matter? Because if you know that your customer acquisition cost is 50 Ghana cedis, then you will not sell the sneakers for less than 50 Ghana cedis profit, especially after taking into account all other costs, because then you run at a loss. It will mean you spend 50 Ghana to make less than 50 Ghana. So knowing your CAC, your customer acquisition cost, help you understand if you are either spending too much on marketing to get the customer in, or maybe you're not even spending enough to attract customers. It's all about getting the biggest value for your money. For entrepreneurs like us, keeping your customer acquisition cost as low as possible without sacrificing the quality of the goods or the service is that sweet spot that we are all looking for to grow sustainably. And for our everyday lives, it shows us the value of each customer and the importance of smart spending. The customer acquisition cost is not just a number for accountants. It's a flashlight that helps guide our decisions, especially in business, in small businesses. It tells you how effectively you are spending money to attract customers and also shows you where you can improve. Remember that your goal is not just to bring in more customers, but to bring in more customers in a way that adds value to your business without necessarily breaking the bank. And that's all for today. Keep well.
Brought to you by Africa School of Entrepreneurship.
Now let's take a look at how some commodities are faring on the international market. That's how we part company tonight on Prime Business. My name is Emma Davis. For more news, do log on to myjoyonline.com. I leave you with international business, after which is Prime Sports. Please stay.